Hey guys, Uncle Bob here again, and as promised, my Black Edition Clod, we're going to be putting some super stock RZ, or RZ for my European guys, but RZ, there's no EED or anything else after that, it's just a Z, as in the alphabet Z. Just busting balls, guys, relax. Hopefully the audio is good. I think I'm having issues with this GoPro, so if you guys can't really hear me, let me know in the comments. And so we're going to be, like I said, putting the super stock RZs into Black Edition Clod because the motors are pretty much black and red. They're going to look a lot better sitting in there than the stock motors. I will have to change the wire, so this is the wire I got. It is this stuff that I got off of Amazon. Can take up to 600 volts. It's got a temperature range of minus 76 degrees Fahrenheit or plus 392 degrees. Silicone rubber, high strand copper core. And each strand is not even a half mil, so it's pretty thin, and it's already tinned. And there's the gauge. It's 12 gauge, 12 aught gauge, whatever you want to call it. And I'm sorry, inside the bag I got gold plated connectors because I'll be switching the connectors on the stock ESC to the 4mm bullet connectors, and also got to add new wire, like I said, to the motors, because ain't no way this short thin stuff is going to fit. So lots of work to do ahead in this video, but I'm going to try to do recordings in segments, so I'm going to try to break it down. And like I said, we will be putting bearings in the motors. There's two of them. I forgot. I didn't forget, I just didn't say it. These are, what are these? Wow. I'll let you know. Give me a second. All right. Bearings are TRBs. Obviously not these ones. These ones are a higher grade, ABCE5. Wow, words. The ones I'm putting in are ABCE3s. And honestly, this is probably what your bargain brushed motors with bearings come with, are these lower grade bearings. But the only difference is the balls in the races are not as tight as they are in a 5. So, and these are actually a hybrid. These are ceramic and stainless steel, and those are going to go into a higher end motor than the BZs or the RZ. I keep saying BZ, RZ. So let's just get into it. Let me get these motors out. As you can see, I already started by taking the screws out. It's much easier to disconnect things to get the motors in and out than it is trying to manipulate your way around through the radius arms or without moving the shocks. It's just going to make life simpler. Take it apart and go from there. Be right back. Alright guys, so on to the second motor, which I'm actually going to unbox right now. Still has the bushings in it. I didn't do anything. I didn't even break it in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it on here, and I'm going to turn this on. Hit the right button, Bobby, and kick the stand. Uh-oh. Where am I going? Oh, there we go. That's on. what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this on the dyno to see. Enter 7.2 volts. Let me try to get this a little lower so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Sorry about the wobble, guys. I'm trying to get this all set up. 7.2 volts. Glare. Enter. Oh, check motor connector. Ah, dum 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 dum. All right. Right at the connectors themselves, on the wires themselves. And I kicked the tripod again. Okay, so 25,200 RPM. Box states 27. And it's actually going to get lower than that because once I reset the timing on this, because it's still advanced, you can tell by where the end bell screw is and where the zero on the can is. So I got to put this on 0. Then I'm going to rotate it 180 for the rear motor, and I'll do all that in a minute. All right, guys, well, I'm getting ready. Whoops. I'm getting ready to pull this front motor out. And as you can see, once you remove the suspension components and the shocks, it's much easier to get to the screws, to get to everything. Okay, the motor fell out pretty much on its own, but that's not what I wanted to show you. That's what I wanted to show you. Even with a brand new build, I use, can you see that? No, you can't see that. I use, come on now. Oh, this magnet's not very strong in this motor. God dang it. I dropped it down on the floor, but I use Robison Racing steel pinions even on stock builds. The stock alloy pinions are nothing but cheese. And if you're going to run motors such as these or any other type of motors in your Clod, you got to change the pinion gears. I don't care if you're using an adjustable motor mount to get a bigger pinion in, you got to get steel pinions. The stock Clod pinions are nothing but pretty much the stock alloy pinion gears in any Tamiya kit is garbage. They don't last long. And if you're club racing or something, and you're going through 2 packs a night or 3 packs a night on a course, pretty much it's going to be worn out in your first week of racing. Just a little heads up. You know, for what are they, like anywhere between $3 to $8 a piece. It's cheap insurance. And like I said, I use Robison Racing, and never had one fail. Okay guys, I'm not going to lie to you, getting that bearing to start down in the motor can with the magnets around is kind of a bear. Now you could try freezing the bearing, and maybe with a heat gun heating up the output side of the can a little bit, but you don't want to go crazy because heat will kill the bearings or the magnets. So like I said, with the magnets in there, getting that bearing to seat is kind of a bear. But once you do, and I'll give you some hints in a second here. Let me readjust this, bring this down a little bit. Old tripod, sorry. Now, one of the easiest way to get that the seat in is you could use an alignment tool. If you don't have an alignment tool and you have an old beat up motor that no longer works, it doesn't matter if it's a 540, 550, as long as it's got an 1/8 inch shaft and it's no good, whether it be a sealed can or a serviceable motor, what you could do is you could smack that thing apart and pull the shaft out. This is an old motor. There's the ground end. There may be serrations in here somewhere for around where the stacks are, which is what the copper winding goes around. And you could pop all that apart, clean it up, and then you got yourself an alignment tool as well. But getting back to getting the bearing the seat. Now, if you don't have a wooden dowel, if you don't have a brass punch, take your 4-way or your box wrench or whatever you want to call it. I call it a 4-way because it's got 4 ways that you can tighten the nuts, which on Tamiya vehicles they don't fit every nut anymore. What's up with that? Anyway, let me get this adjusted just a little bit more because I'm behind the camera and I'm trying to see that what I'm doing so you can see what I'm doing. And being an alloy wrench or even maybe a plastic one will work, we're going to try this. As long as it's the same diameter as the outer race. You want to make sure you hit the outer race. Don't push it in with a screwdriver and tap it in because you're going to kill the inner race and probably the balls. Now you could take a regular hammer. I got my old brass hammer, and I think we're going to need a harder surface because it's on that. Let me get that out of the way, move this, because I'm an idiot, not thinking things through. Alright. I was smart enough to grab a block of wood before I started. And what the hell did I do with the hand? Oh, there it is. Just a couple of taps. Almost seated. I don't think this has got enough shock to it, so let me go back to the stock Tamiya alloy one. Make sure I'm lined up. It sounds like I'm hitting it hard, but I'm also on a hard surface. And you can see that bearing's almost completely seated. Again, I probably should have put the bearings in the freezer. But, you know, sometimes people don't plan ahead and they just work on a whim. Okay, that's lined up. And it's almost seated. I'll be right back. Alright, I went and got my brass punch. This is, what is this? It's been so long. Mayhew. 3/8 and 10 millimeter, whatever. And probably should have gotten my hardened steel plate, because definitely want something a little harder than this wood, because obviously poplar is not really a hard wood. But a piece of steel, would probably be better. I do have a piece of AR 500, but it's super heavy. I mean, it's heavy. But that one's in. doing the bearing in the end bell is actually really simple. Just stick it in, and you know what, this one here, probably just push it in just like that, and that's seated in. Again, if you don't have an alignment tool but you got a beat up motor, once you get it all together, you can drop your alignment tool in, and if the bearings are seated correctly, it'll slap through and move without any binding. I would say that's pretty good. I'm going to double check it. I'm going to tap this one just a few more times, but that's it. I really recommend something non-magnetic. They do make a tool for pulling bearings and inserting bearings into motor. It's basically a screw type deal where it pushes, pulls. Pulling out is going to be on the inner race, pushing in is going to be on the outer race, and again, that's what you want to do, is you want to make sure you're working on the outer race, because you don't want to ruin the bearings. So that's good. I'm almost certain. And let me finish up this one, and then we'll work on the rear motor, because this is the front motor, and I didn't put the bearings in it until just now because I was waiting. Be right back, guys. Okay, seeing as how this is going to be the rear motor, and I still need to put the bearings in it as well because they're sitting there. First thing you want to do is always pull your motor springs out. Okay, pull your brushes completely out. And as you can see, the spring would sit on this side and hit there, and the shunt is off to the left post here for the brush post. So just if you want to keep it oriented that way. Still have to change motor leads over, because going from a stock Tamiya Clodbuster 540 to the RZ, motor leads are much shorter. But right now it doesn't matter. Like I said, I always keep the positive on this side of my hand so I can keep track. So when I take the motor apart, I know where it's at. Not enough. Unscrew the screws a little bit, push them down, because that unseats the bar, and I forgot that it's not going to turn because it was lock timing. That does not matter, because I know that this one on this side, with the positive towards the crook of my hand, is where the zero is. I'll flip the end bell one over 180, and you can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little tab right there. That little tab is what we're going to trim off. So you just cut, trim, cut and trim, and I'll be right back after I do this, because I don't want to be talking and trying to concentrate and cut my damn hand up. Okay, so if you have small files, I recommend at least a flat one. These are my small diamond files, just to make sure it's all smoothed out. How's it fit? Does it spin freely? It's still notchy, so you can see how that's notching. So keep filing it, keep smoothing it out until it rotates freely. Okay, sorry about that, people. I was an idiot. I forgot I didn't have the locking ring connected. But once you get it connected and you can rotate the end bell, it does move freely and smoothly. I mean, it's got 4 notches, so it's going to catch and lock down. But that's it. Now that I know that that's there, and zero timing is here, now the positive or the negative is on the crook of my hand. So that makes it 180 degrees, which is perfect for the rear gearbox on a Clod Buster. And you don't have to swap the wires. A lot of people sit there and say, well, can't I just swap the wires? Not on a timed motor. A timed motor will definitely upset the wagon, if you know what I mean. It's not good. And going 180 from the end bell and putting it at zero timing, because there's marks on both sides of the end bell, so you can't get the timing wrong. It's more beneficial, it's going to be more efficient, and it's going to run cooler. You are going to lose RPM, but you're going to gain a little bit of torque. We already proved that this motor, even though it's not broken in, barely any mark on that brush. So I don't know if they tested it to make sure it ran freely, but there's marks on the brushes already. I did hook it up, didn't I? That's probably from me running it. There we go. And you can see the shiny spot on the brush. That tells you that it's not broken in. It could be an alignment on the hoods, which I did not do on these motors. I'm just putting bearings in them and running them as is. I will, double make sure that I have the alignment and the bearings proper, but I'm not going to adjust the brush hoods. And that's it. And now you can hook it up like it would suggest in the manual, and you won't have an ESC issue of one motor going one way and one going the other. It's really that simple. Now it's just a matter of putting the bearings in this one like I did in the last one, and buttoning it all up and popping it in. I'll be back in a bit. Oh, one other thing, guys. Make sure that after you put your bearings in your motors, to put a drop, and I mean a drop of bearing oil. In this case, this is Acer Racing synthetic excuse me, Acer Racing synthetic bearing lubricant. Now I've used this for a couple of years now, and this is my second bottle, and after a while I noticed that it starts to solidify, if you will. So as it sits, it seems to get thicker, but it's all together. Got the radio sitting there. I'm almost done. This was for something else, and we're good. And well, that's it. Just wanted to make sure that you guys lube your bearings. You don't want them to be cut and dry, you know what I'm saying. Hoorah. All right, so guys, I was gonna slap in my old Tekin Titan ESC into my black Clod, but then I figured I'm just gonna keep the original ESC in there that it came with. And getting back to the motor, now I already have this one retimed and turned the end bell 180. So, and a lot of people have asked, if you set the timing at 0, can't you just cross the wires, plug the positive into the negative and the negative into the positive, and so on and so forth? I suppose you can, because if it's 0 timing, it's 0 timing. The way we've always done it in the racing world, when we used brushed motors, now it's all brushless, we would rotate the end bell 180 and set it 0 timing. Now you can time the motors to get your RPM back, but you have to, before it was all done by ear, you'd listen to the pitch of the motor as you turn the end bell to figure out which is going to give you the optimal RPM range that you're looking for. The thing is, with higher RPM you lose torque, and we always ran stock 13-tooth pinions, so it's not like you could change it, and that allows you to keep your torque. But the dryer just went off. It allows you to maintain your torque, but you end up with less speed. Now, back in the day when we raced, it was, you know, 8 to 10 cells, NiCad, nickel metal hydrides, whatever you can get, and you would custom build your own pack by soldering with battery bars each individual cell, and you would stick them into race chassis, whether it be carbon fiber, aluminum, FRP, whatever it was made out of. You would set it up so you could put that in, and when I raced, I was using reedy ties, 13 doubles. They weren't the fastest and they weren't the strongest, but they worked, you know. And what was it? Depending on where you get them from, they were either $60 to $80 a motor. So you know, you got to get two. Anyway, getting back to this, I got this all set up, and I'm going to run it on the dyno again, because I can't remember if I did it with the bushings. I think I did. I'm not sure. But we're going to run this on the dyno to see where this is at, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm not sure if you can see this menu on this. I don't want to kill my wire here, because I've already ground into that wire once before. I got it set up for motor test. Hit enter. 7.2 volts, which is basically a NiCad or nickel metal hydride pack. You know, just to keep it even. While that's rolling up, poured myself another cup of mud. Okay, it says 22.2, so it's not far off. Well, I guess it is. 27. 500 RPM less, give or take. I can deal with it. Still faster than the stock 540s. So let me get this coffee out of here, because I don't want to spill it. Oh, that's good. I'm going to put up some pictures of magnetic gausses, so you guys can check it all out yourself. And I'm going to get this back together and finish it up, and then I'll probably take it out for a run. It's going to be out back because I don't have wheels at the moment, so it's hard to get anywhere. So I'll put it out back, and I'll probably use an older body, because I'm still not done with the black body, even though I've had this truck for almost a year. You know, I haven't been feeling it, guys, so, but I'm doing this, and I don't have to worry about which direction or which wire I have to plug in which. I automatically know that right now with 180, it's within specs of the front motor. I can sit there and just hook it up like you would your kit motors that came with it, plugged right into the ESC, and good to go. I did put the bullet connectors on there. I did not change them on the ESC. I will show that later, because these plug in to the connectors on the ESC. Are they going to be as tight as these? No, but I'll get to it sooner or later. I just didn't want to pull it out of the truck so I could put the wires in my holder, or the connectors in my holder, and then solder the wires in it, and then it's a big pain in the butt. But I'll show you what it's like later on. Let me get to this, and I'll be right back. So you guys might have noticed that I'm not using my timing stand, jig, whatever, but just to show, there is 0 on the can, and there's 0 right there. Line that up perfectly so I could see and you can see. 0, 0. The brushes are straight across north and south, or east and west, and timing marks in there. If I can get this straight, it's pretty much straight up and down with the mounting pattern. So if you don't know your timing marks and you don't have one of those, how can you tell? Well, end bell screws, if it's an adjustable motor or serviceable, whatever, the end bell screws will be in the center of the mounting screws. Brushes will usually sit in the center of your magnets. So, and that would be very close to 0 timing. Now, seeing how I changed this end bell or turned it 180, you know what? I'm not even going to get into adjusting timing. It's a pain in the butt. But what I will do is show you this RPM stand. If you could find them, and if you want to do this kind of work on your motors, I recommend it. It comes with 2 motor holders. You can set it up like this. You can change it into the center. You could have it hanging off the edge. You could have another one sitting there. You know, you could power this one with the rubber hose that it comes with to turn this one to break in the brushes without applying any power. The other thing is you could sit there and come on, Bobby, there we go. You can sit there and set it in this way to hold it up, or you could use either side. It doesn't matter. But it's a good little tool. If you could find it, I recommend one. Not necessary. Pair of plier handles and a rubber band to hold it all together will also work. So, you know, you don't have to get fancy. Like I said, I'm not doing anything with the brush hoods. I'm not realigning anything. I'm putting these in as is. And I just dropped the damn pinion. Give me a second. All right. See, that didn't take long. Put that on there. No, right there. No, right there. Sure, that'll be good enough. And yep, feels good. All I gotta do is get it in the truck, guys, and like I said, give it a try, see how it works. This one here, I will be using a nickel metal hydride. I will not be using a LiPo because I got the regular Tamiya connector on there, so it's going to be the same pack that I used in the Super Astute run. And that's the reason why I bought that pack, was for this black Clod. Yeah, I had it that long. So that's it. Any questions, comments, feel free to leave them below. And go from there. And remember, if you're doing this kind of work on your Clodbuster, like my black one I got here, which is all stock, it really helps. I had the shocks disconnected too, by the way, but it really helps to take all this apart so you can, oh, that's connected for the anti-rotational bracket, but you can get to the motor screws much easier with it apart. And if you need to know your gear mesh and you're not sure, now you know I just set that by my eyes because, well, I've done this a lot. You can sit there and I can put the motor in. Alright, if I can get the wires out of my way. Remember, I'm running a lot thicker wire than came factory. Motor. And that pinion mesh is right there. I've been doing Clods for way too long, guys. I'm sorry. It's my favorite RC truck. And I've had one since 1988. And I'm just a monster truck guy. Don't get me wrong, I like my cars. I like my touring cars. That's a blast when you got guys running. I like buggies, but I don't have much experience with two-wheel drive buggies. One of these days, I'll get out and maybe get up to the track and run a couple of different ones. We'll see. But for the time being, that motor does look a lot better in there than that stock 540 silver can. Yes, I think so. All right, I'm rambling, guys. I've already been talking about 7 minutes on this segment, and that's it. Is it a segment? Yes. So I'm gonna get this motor buttoned up, hook it all up, and give it a test, and I'll see you on the flip side. And I got to do a run, so we'll get it out for a run after I get these motors done. It won't be today. It's already Tuesday the 26th, I believe, and it's already 3:30 in the afternoon. So I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Everybody have a good day, good night, good week, good month, good year, and a good life. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Hoorah! I'm sorry, I am not done yet. And remember, as a rule of thumb, when you're putting your screws in, especially going back into plastic, always go in a left-hand turn, and you'll hear it snap into place, and then it'll go right into the threads you already put in when you first assembled it, without cutting new threads and ruining the plastic eventually over time if you keep taking them in and out. And one other thing, don't those motors look good in there? And yes, they work, they'll turn. The other thing is, with one of these motors, the mounting screws did not appear to have any threads, and what it is, it was the chrome plating. Now, I don't have one of the screws with me right at the moment because I did this a while ago. Okay, as I was saying, one of these motors, I'm pretty sure it was the front one because I didn't have an issue with this other one, but I've heard of other people having an issue with the screws. Now, I don't know where I put the one that I had, but this is an M3 stainless screw, and just to show you, it does screw right into the motor mounts. And I got one. I like the stainless. It seems to be harder than the steel with the motors that, or the screws that come with it. And I don't care what screw you use as long as it's an M3. What you do is you would put a nut on here, Then take a cutoff wheel or a rotary tool with a cutoff wheel and cut into the threads in a straight line, or as straight as you can, and then you back that nut off and it helps clean up the threads, and that cut acts as a tap. If you don't have a tap, that's the best way to rethread. It works in plastic and it works in soft materials like the chrome plating on the motors. It'll help cut your threads and you'll be good to go. Now I prefer a cap head style screw, which would take the 3mm hex driver or 3mm hex, because it's a lot easier to hold and hang on to, and it makes the job much easier. Just remember that it could happen that some of these motors, or maybe it was on the TZs I put in my gray edition. I can't remember. Anyway, when I put these in, I didn't have an issue, so they will have some plating issues, and we'll go from there. So that's it. Just wanted to let you guys know that sometimes these will appear not to have threads, and if you try to put a screw in, it'll be very, very hot. I mean, you're wrenching on it really good. Take an old screw, stainless if you got it, cap head, M3, clamp it in a vise or something, or even small vise grips to hold it steady. Take a rotary tool with a thin cutoff wheel. After you put a nut on it, put the nut on the threads first, put that slot in there, and then you got a tapper. Works for me. All right, so yeah. All right, guys, it's an unofficial run. It's at 4 miles an hour right now, only because I walked out to the backyard. Again, haven't done anything. It's still got those motors in it. I know grass isn't ideal for a speed run, but I couldn't get up to the park to do anything on the tarmac, so let's try this. Lots of torque, as always. And you could hear that GPS just bouncing around in that bed. Wow, that thing wants to wheelie something fierce. Let's take a look and see what we got. Now, what was it, like 12 miles an hour, 11 miles an hour with my gray Clod with the TZs? Well, this one hit 13 in the grass. Hopefully you can see that. I can't see it. 13. All right, so let's run it a little bit and watch this stuff. Oops, went in the thermal or something. You hit full throttle with this speed controller and it just wants to stop. Look at that. Watch. Start out with a slow trigger. You can't hammer fist it, I guess. Oh, and I lost the screw and the nut and the tube and everything for the shock. Here, let me get it around for you so you can see it better. Look at that, short run. All right.